Alrighty, all. Hello, and welcome back to another soccer, or should I say football, video. I am learning quite a bit about, quite frankly, the biggest sport on earth. Let's get real. It's kind of a lot to take in, but it's really, really fun learning about so many different things at once. There's a lot of layers to the sport, and I'm really quite enjoying it. Of course, the Euros are going on right now, so it's a big hype time for the sport anyway. But we're kind of looking at something, a little bit further down from that. This has been a suggestion I've gotten recently from David, and this is called Why Do the English Love Non-League Football? And I remember when I learned about kind of how the sport works a couple months ago, it mentioned that there's a lot of layers, right? I mean, you have the top leagues, the pros, so to say, the big leagues, whatever. And you actually have a lot of minor leagues, I guess you could call it, below that. And I was fascinated by the concept that even in the top leagues, if you're not good and you're at the bottom, you can get kicked down, right, to different tiers. And I think that's really interesting and really cool. It brings a whole new kind of survival aspect to the sport and gives you incentive to, you got to do good, otherwise you're going to lose your spot. But the minor leagues or non-leagues aren't bad because I guess they're pretty popular. That's what I'm told. I know absolutely nothing about it. Basically, here in the U.S., people watch the NFL, and if they don't watch the NFL for, American football, they watch, college football, right, the NCAA. But other than that, no one else watches minor league stuff in any other sport. Like in baseball, pretty much everyone would watch MLB, Major League Baseball. They wouldn't really bother with the minor league teams unless you're maybe going to a local team, that might be really small, just to get out of the house and have some fun. But I don't think many people are diehard fans of that kind of stuff here. So I think this should be pretty interesting. This is from a channel called Stunt Peg. It will be linked in the description down below, so you can watch this whole thing uninterrupted, as we're not going to see the whole thing here. And of course, browse her channel. Looks like a pretty good one. Let's learn about some non-league football.
Welcome to Bacup Borough. This is the 10th tier of English football.
10th tier? Wow. So that sounds like it's pretty far down the rung there.
Why on earth am I in the 10th tier of English football when I could be watching the Premier League?
Bacup is a town in Lancashire. By the way, if I pronounce anything wrong, I apologize ahead of time.
No.
Hello.
I don't think you need to watch any football to be good. You see, you don't get this at Old Trafford.
No.
Okay, so
Fred Peters, manager of
first impressions, right? This doesn't look like one of those huge fancy stadiums I learned about recently in some of these, assumingly Premier League and other big leagues in other countries throughout Europe, right? Those were bigger than life, right? Huge, crazy, fancy, expensive. This is definitely not one of those stadiums. But don't let that fool you. Of course, it might not be big and fancy. It might be a really hazy, almost looks like rainy day, but I'm sure some great memories are made here, and don't be fooled, there might be some awesome competition here. I think that's what we're going to learn about.
Bacup Borough, some people say I'm the longest serving manager in worldwide football.
How long have you been managing at Bacup?
26 years.
What goes into each match in terms of your preparation?
I mean, I was here first thing in the morning. First thing I did was cleaning the beer pumps in the bar.
Hell yeah.
I went on the tractor and I was rolling and brushing.
Come on, you got football, you got the field still, and you got beer. Really, what can you complain about? Sounds like a decent time to me.
The pitch ready for a game today, and then I had to go out with Deborah to get all the catering, and then I started to focus on
Hold on, let me see these prices. This doesn't look bad. First of all, interesting that you have Lay's chips. I thought they were branded as something else overseas. They're Lay's here. And then in Mexico, they're called Sabritas. We've gotten these sent from Australia in fan mail, and I want to say they were called something else. And now the name's escaping me, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, I know Lay's is kind of worldwide, but they always rebrand themselves. It's kind of weird.
To get all the kids.
And look at these prices, though. These are good. These are good prices, man. It seems like any kind of sporting event, even local ones here in the U.S., they're just kind of a ripoff, man, with prices. These seem decent, right? I mean, I suppose a hot dog or nachos or something here in the U.S. would be pretty cheap. But some things like burgers or chicken tenders or something could be really expensive. And I don't see anything crazy on here, so that's pretty cool.
And then I started to focus on my team selection ready for today.
Whoa,
Bacup
that is indeed rainy. That would be kind of crazy to play in.
Who else do you support, or is it just Bacup?
Burnley. I've been brought up with Burnley, and it's my local team.
Most of my family supports Burnley, and I've just been coming Bacup with my dad for years.
Man City and Man United. How come you don't support them?
Because we're not glory hunters.
Now, those were big teams she was talking about right there, right? Because we're not glory hunters. I mean, this is true, you know, spikes on the ground football right here.
Do you prefer the Premier League or the Championship?
Championship by far. VAR's rubbish. Yeah. Get it gone.
I mean, you definitely have a closer seat. Let's get real, right? You're really close to the action, it looks like. You're literally right there. I don't think you can sit that close unless you pay big money at, like a Premier League game. By the way, I'm still very new to this sport, so if I get, certain leagues wrong or whatever, I apologize. Also, I might not know what's going on half the time with the terminology and stuff. But that place looks like it has some history, man. It's definitely a little rough around the edges, but it's got some character, right? What is that?
I'm the kind of manager always have been. The first thing that I want to see in a player is work rate.
I love the sounds.
Lean on it, Ben, drop right back.
This looks honestly pretty fun, right? I mean, I see why someone could like this, especially, like, honestly, I know everyone could watch, like, the big leagues on TV, right, and stuff, and highlights and all that jazz, and I'm sure it's fun, right? There's no doubt about that. But this is something you could probably connect with more, right? It's not like a lot of people can afford to just get season tickets to huge pro teams in really any sport in any country, right? Like, I know I couldn't. I can't afford to buy season tickets for all my favorite teams in the U.S. and also find a time to go all the time. That's just not a real thing. That's not realistic. But, seeing something more local, more boots on the ground like this, right, that is not far away, of course this would be more popular, I think, just for practicality and also, relatedness, right? These are people having fun, being competitive, playing a sport that people love, and it's accessible, right? You can kind of get to know these coaches, these managers, these employees, and the players, right? It's more personal, and people are always going to gravitate towards that. Even more so, of course, than a celebrity that's worth, $50 million, and you'll never see him in public ever, right?
Local radio station.
There's something
to Brent,
beautiful about this kind of thing.
At Bacup Borough. We're not a Salford City. We don't have the class of '92 here. It's Brent Peters and Deborah O'Connor, and that's about it. But we're trying.
Dude, I wish I could control the ball like that. I have no experience in football anyway, so of course I can't control the ball like that, but it's just cool. It's really cool to see people that are just so natural at it. I'm sure these guys have been playing their whole life, most likely. It's really cool, dude. Dude, I kind of wanted to just watch this whole game.
Well, just this season, because I only got her in
And even got a mascot. Come on.
So we come all the way from Conway.
How far is that? Where's that?
It's 125 miles.
Damn, that's pretty far.
So
No
it's a
way.
250 mile
Wow.
round trip.
Look at that. 5-1 win for Bacup. That sounds like a pretty good day, honestly.
For 12 seasons.
What's it like playing under Brent?
Yeah, Brent's mint, honestly, he's different. No matter how I'm playing, he's always behind me, he's pushing me on. He's honest, brutally honest. If you're not on it, he tells you. And he's just honest with you, and he's fair. And these lads, especially the younger lads, need that. If you can't handle Brent, you're not going to be able to handle it at this level.
It comes across like
Yeah, I mean, having a good coach, manager, whatever, like that might appear brutally honest, it can be a little intimidating at first, can be frustrating, right? But honestly, at the end, it's going to force you to be disciplined. It's going to mature you, and you're going to end up realizing that pays off in the long run for sure. You know, it's a fine line with sports. At the end of the day, you want everyone to feel good and have fun and all that jazz, of course. But there's also something a little bit like you don't want to be told you're the best like 24/7 if you're not, right? You know, this whole thing, especially in the U.S. now, like everyone gets a trophy and stuff. Well, yeah, but I mean, there's got to be a drive to get better and hopefully, you know, want to win, right? If you want to join the sports and get good and you want to win, there's got to be an incentive, right? There's no incentive at all, and everyone is the best at all the time. You know, I just feel like that's not a recipe for like growth, you know.
Tiger, but really is a pussycat.
Yeah. And he cares a lot, doesn't he?
Cares a lot for the club. This is what, I mean, this is his life, isn't it?
Football just comes out of every single pore of his body. He eats, sleeps and breathes Bacup Borough and football.
So basically what we can draw from this is there is insane passion with this. And now that has been the theme as well, learning about the fans, even of the big football, right? Premier League and all the other huge leagues in all the countries, right? Like the fans are just totally different from what I've seen in any of the sports here in the U.S., right? Sports are huge here. There's millions and millions of fans here, of course. But it's a different fandom, right? And there's definitely seems like in the most cases there's a big disconnect between teams and players and of course fans, even though they're reliant on each other, right? There's definitely more of that connection, I feel like, at least with football throughout Europe. It's really, really cool. And the passion is through the roof, man, especially with the fans. And then, of course, when you're on this lower level football, it's more intimate between managers and players and a community around it. That's what I'm gathering here. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's awesome. I'm sure it's a pleasure to experience that, right? To be part of something where, you know, like those kids are there, they were in the crowd, right? Watching this. It's something they can look up to. It's something they can look forward to, right? Something that they can be part of on a normal basis. Because if they wanted to, it's not like they could be at every Premier League game sitting up front, right? And getting to know the whole community and the stadium and all that stuff. It's just different. So yeah, that passion is something I admire when I'm seeing a lot of these football videos from Europe, from England, from Germany, from wherever. I think it's really cool, and it definitely stands out to me. And it's something like seeing it from afar. It's something I feel like would be just really cool to experience in that way, because basically I experience camaraderie with only immediate family, right? When we're all fans of one team. And that's great. And I love it. And I've had memories of watching big games with just my family, right? And that's really fun. On a whole grand scale, like on a bigger scale like this, not really, right? I haven't really experienced that. And this looks really fun.
Sunday league player, everything. I'm used to playing in front of just an old man and his dog. So obviously when I come here and there's quite a lot of people here, it's good, and you can see
That's
what it means
awesome.
to all the fans and everything. It's a real family feel, and you're behind the goal, behind the stand, you feel it in the game. You know, the gaffers were saying, you know, who are you doing this for today? Yeah. And for the fans, really, you know, for people who come and pay the money to come in, that's what the lads need to do week in, week out. Can't do it one week and turn it off the next week.
Would you ever consider going to a more local club?
No, Bacup is in my blood, even though Brent's Manchester United and I'm Liverpool. We still love each other.
This club will be here for a long time. We're just passing through. It's the younger ones that are going to look after it. We're passing through, we're just going to make everything better for them.
Yeah. And you're setting the best example for the next generation.
That's awesome,
well,
dude.
hopefully, I hope so, yeah. I hope so. I've got 2 daughters, so hopefully.
So that's really cool, man. Look, there were a section of this we did not watch, so please use the link down there and watch this whole original video, and definitely check out her channel. I will be doing that in my own time for sure. That was really cool, man. I would just echo right now what I would say, what I said a few minutes ago. This is just really cool to see that passion. I'm glad to see, of course, local teams like this having an awesome community. You know, they're in the old beat-up stadium, and But you know what? There's a lot of character and history there, and it's something for the youngins to, of course, inspire or aspire to, and it can be a part of from any young age. That could be hard to find really anywhere sometimes. So that's really cool to see, like, love for, you know, not just the pro, fancy, flashy, rich, you know, big pro league stuff. It's nice to see some down on the ground, some honest people, honest football going on. I think that's cool, and it looks like a lot of fun as well. I legit wanted to tune into that game and watch a whole bit of it. I think that would have been awesome. I appreciate that suggestion. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely appreciate you being here, and hope to see you in the next one. We have a lot more to learn about this sport. I tell you what, every time I'm really intrigued, and I've been missing out, man. Holy smokes. I never took the time, and I never got pulled in to soccer or football, right? But I tell you what, it is fascinating, and it is like the biggest sport in the world. So I hope your week is going well, and it's going to be it for this one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.